Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, and as you can see, I've got the blue and black tie on. We've got the Lapis Lakeside music going on in the background, and you all know what that means. It is time for another Cressminster Raptor Den Poké show. Now, this one is for Farfetch'd. This one took me a while to get around to because, my goodness, you guys were insane. Overall, this is the largest Cressminster we've gotten as far as submission goes, which I feel like is going to be a trend going forward, probably, for almost every remaining Cressminster. But you guys submitted 181 Farfetch'd for me to review, so that took me a while to review. I also had a lot of stuff going on. I had camping, so vacation in there definitely did not help things. But yeah, we're looking at a lot of Pokemon to review, a lot of Leek ducks to review. So let's just hop right into it. For those of you that don't know what the Cressminster is, it is me going through your guys' submissions of things that you caught in the first week, maybe 2 weeks of the Pokemon being released, and discussing the good and the bad that you guys submitted. Now, for this one, there were so many submissions that a lot of them that aren't in, like, the honorable mentions categories are not necessarily bad. If they're not mentioned there, that doesn't mean necessarily bad. If they're not mentioned in the dishonorable mentions, that doesn't necessarily mean they're good. But when I had to consider the best of the best, that's really all that made it into the honorable mentions category. So let's just hop right into it. Now, I moved my face so that you don't necessarily... that the names don't get blocked and stuff by the corner. But ABA, let's go through the ABA list. Now, the ABA list is Leek, Sausage, Leek. These were all the submissions that didn't really have anything notable going for them. They might have been good, they might have been neutral, they might have been a little bit on the worse for wear side, so consider that, take that into your account if you want to invest in them. But I think ABA is an interesting list. There's some neat synergy with Leek and Sausage, with the Sukiyaki curry that just came out. It doesn't produce quite enough to really make the meal reliably, but that's not necessarily the idea, as you can supplement and stockpile as needed if you have a good enough one. But some of these are alright, some of them are bad, some of them are mid, but I'll just click through them as we go. You guys submitted a lot. An ABA is one that usually gets a lot of submissions because it is one of the more common lists. Anything that has the B ingredient second is twice as common as anything that has the A ingredient second in this game because they're not weighted equally, if you didn't know. So that naturally leads to any of them that have a B ingredient in the second slot. You guys submitted more of them than anything that had AA, except for AAA, which you guys always submit a ton of because you feel... I feel like it's because you guys feel if it's mono, you have to show it off to the world. So I always get a bunch of those submissions. But AAB and AAC, I hardly ever get a ton of submissions for. Now, time to get to honorable ABA mentions. So if they're in this honorable category, that means that I looked at it and said this is good, and put it in my folder of ones to consider for Best in Show. Now, for those of you that don't know, for ingredient Pokemon, I do 6 Best in Shows, 1 for each ingredient list, because I think that comparing across ingredient lists is kind of difficult. Some might say that ingredient lists can be accounted for, and you should account for it when determining if a Pokemon is good or not. I think it just determines more its role on its on the team, and an ABA is going to fill a very different role on a team than an AAA. So honorable is ones that I considered for Best in Show for ABA. And all 3 of these are very good, but it came down to slight differences why I chose the one that won, which will show off way later. But all of these are very good ones. Congrats to Smouse, Josh, and Slobo. If you want an ABA Farfetch'd, if you can make good use out of an ABA Farfetch'd on your account, then these 3 are going to easily be the best that you will catch. I doubt you'll ever catch one better than one of these 3 listed here, because really the difference between the Best in Show is a small nitpick. And I actually struggled to pick the Best in Show out of these ones. Anyway, next one, AAC. Now, I think AAC Farfetch'd has a pretty interesting role if you can make Zingzap Spice Cola. It's very good at supplementing and covering a decent amount of coverage for Zingzap specifically. So if you are targeting Zingzap, then this is a decent list. If you are not targeting Zingzap, then it's probably one that you just keep at level 30, just for that basic getting the leaks, and it produces a decent amount of leaks at level 30. So that is a consideration as well if you don't want to take it quite to 60 for the C ingredient of ginger. But Here are some that were submitted by the community. Once again, some of these are actually pretty decent Farfetch'd, and I would be willing to settle for them. Other ones, not the best. But not ones worth mentioning or really discussing here. But thank you to all your submissions. It is always fun to look through them. Now, as far as honorable AAC mentions go, like I said, double A with a AAC and AAB are always the least submitted. You guys only had one honorable mention here, and that was Zuki8515. Thank you for submitting this one. It's a pretty solid one. It's got Help Speed S and Ingredient Finding S. Speed of Help Up Nature. Granted, it would take 2 sub-skill seeds, so if free to play, which I actually know this account, we've talked quite a bit. I know for a fact that Zuki is a free to play player, so I wouldn't necessarily consider investment with that many sub-skill seeds, as sub-skill seeds are hard to come by. But if you did have access to sub-skill seeds and you want to target that Zinzap Cola, this dude would be amazing at that specific job. Otherwise, take to level 30, and just use it for the leaks. That'll be decent as well. Now, as far as AAB goes, once again, this is the other one that always gets the least amount of submissions. I'll just click through them, show them off. Again, thanks to all the submissions. Some of them are alright, but nothing super notable here. This one says AAC as the name, which I found kind of funny. Richie Boo, this is AAB. Sausages, there be ingredient. But anyway, honorable mention for AAB. Once again, we only have one that made an honorable mention that barely didn't make it. So I guess you can call it runner-up, not honorable mention, because there was no other honorable mentions. But Speed S, Ingredient Finding M, Speed of Help Up Nature. Smouse, if you need an AAB Farfetch'd, or just need the leaks now, AA, just get it to level 30. This is a great option. Help Speed S, Ingredient Finding M, with a Speed of Help Up Nature. Pretty solid. Pretty solid, and definitely the best you're going to get with that sort of ingredient spread. Now, as far as sausage Farfetch'd go, this is going to be a much lesser chosen option because there are a ton of sausage options in the game. So choosing Farfetch'd for your sausage is going to be a bit difficult to justify, especially with the inventory problems that Farfetch'd can run into when farming sausage, because it farms so many of them. But I got a lot of submissions for this one, probably once again because it's just more common. Get twice as many catches with the ABB list than what you should get with the AAB or the AAC. So you guys sent in quite a few of them. Not the most submitted category though. But thank you to all those submissions. And then as far as honorable sausage mentions go, we did only have one actually. But if Kami, here, this is a great sausage Pokemon. It would take double sub-skill seeds though, Ingredient Finding M and Help Speed M. If free to play, I probably wouldn't suggest this route, especially since Farfetch'd has the whole, like I said, inventory problem, which does kind of get assisted by level 75 with yours. But with XP gains down, it's going to take a long time to get there. But if you need a sausage Pokemon, then maybe see how it might work with your box. And that those extra little leaks might be nice for sukiyaki curry or something else that could use it. But this is probably one of the better ones. Not the best that was submitted, though. Now, full mixed Farfetch'd. Full mixed and mono always seem to be the 2 largest submission categories I get in here. Full mix probably having to do with the fact that the B ingredient is, once again, more common. And the fact that full mixed lists, I think a lot of people post them to complain, like, oh, look at this, if it only wasn't for the full mixed list, which, honestly, full mixed list on Farfetch'd is really not the best. It doesn't have the best of synergies. Sausage and Ginger has a decent amount of synergy, specifically, but there doesn't really make that great usage of the leaks. Because Sausage and Ginger is interesting. It actually synergizes for Corn Keema Curry, but there's better Pokemon that do Sausage and Ginger, namely Tyranitar and Charizard. So this is really one that if you have a good one for it, I wouldn't recommend any sort of immediate investment because I can't think of a great role for an ABC Farfetch'd on the team, or even like a case to use it. Maybe you can have something in your box for it, but it's more difficult to justify than other lists. Now, as far as honorable mixed mentions go, once again, we only have one, which is surprising with how many submissions there were. But double ingredient finding, this has got the triple ingredient finding combo. You knew that was going to be at least good. It really only lost out because there's a better one that will come up later. So, congrats, Jassy. Kind of. If only this wasn't a mixed list, full mixed list. ABC lists are always the hardest to use, and there are very few species that I think work as an ABC list, but Farfetch'd is not one of them, in my opinion. So, as far as Leek, mono options, you guys went crazy. A lot of people submitted mono option Farfetch'd, and yeah, just a ton of them. The community very highly values the mono list, and I understand why, because it is by far the best for leaks. If you have a mono Farfetch'd, that alone, if it has decent stats, nothing can compete with it, not even Quackable. Really, the biggest thing holding me back from telling everyone go out and hunt Farfetch'd is because the fact that the mono list is so rare and Farfetch'd is so expensive is just about the only thing that is holding me back from saying everyone should be hunting it. Because if everybody hunted it, then none of us would have biscuits, except for the whales. And that's really the only thing holding me back. But if it's got decent stats, then there might be reason for investment if you can make good usage out of the leaks. So I guess give it a little bit of a consideration. If you are on the honorable mentions list, then it's definitely worth investment, which we had 4. 4 aside from the best in show that I put on honorable mentions. I just realized I kind of didn't center this, so I'm sorry about this. This one's getting kind of cut off. But lots of things with ingredient finding S, help speed S, subskill seedable with ingredient finding up natures. 3 good things. It's kind of the idea of what you're seeing here. This one doesn't have 3 necessarily, helping bonus, but helping bonus is great support with inventory, also pretty solid. These are all really solid mono options. If you caught any of these, Flex, Snorlax, ZZZ, Barty, and Mew, these are all worth investment if you can make good usage out of the leaks. Don't necessarily, though, invest unless you need leaks, though, because if you don't have an immediate need for leaks, then why would you invest in a leak farmer? But if you need it, you have one of the best options, if not the best option in the game for it. Oh yeah, there are actually a few more. Actually, we had 7. I forgot about these ones. Pocket Boy, E. Enderu, and I don't even know how to pronounce that one. Not going to try. But thank you for submitting these ones. More great options for leaks. Congrats. Now, dishonorable mentions. These are ones that was like, man, there's nothing going for these guys in the subskills and nature. Bad nature. Ingredients down. I feel kind of bad because 2 of them were Sonja. The same person. Submitting Pokemon with just ingredient finding down. Granted, this one does get ingredient finding M at level 75. It does have a mono list. But that's so late. And with ingredient finding down, that's almost entirely counteracting the ingredient finding M. This is not worth it. None of these are worth it. They're too expensive to even be even minorly worth it. And the ingredient finding down nature just kills them. Now, shinies. My goodness, so many shinies were sent in. I think this is easily the most amount of shinies. I couldn't fit them all on one screen, so I'm just going to click through them. Congrats to everybody who submitted a shiny, because that is awesome. I think a part of that was, I think it was boosted during the event. I don't know, that was so long ago that I don't even remember if they boosted shiny rate, but even still, lots of shinies were submitted, some of them pretty solid as well. And yeah, my goodness, so many. Now, interestingly, the next slide, we actually had 2 people that sent in that they had 2 different shinies. Iris the Great and Khalife. Thank you so much. This is awesome to see 2 shinies. One's a mono option here, but it doesn't really have much going for it in the subskills. But congrats on you 2. But then, my goodness, Jazz that shiny. The name shiny definitely applies here. Jazz that shiny caught 3 shiny Farfetch'd throughout the course of the week. One has the mono option with a help speed M, so meh. If you want the mono option, then this is an alright. It could be better, but I understand the temptation of wanting to use a shiny. Otherwise, we have an AAC and an ABC. This one could be, once again, alright if you're targeting Zing Zap. But you probably caught other ones. I don't know. Only you know. But my goodness, 3 shinies in 1 week of the same Pokemon is just insane. You got insanely lucky. So, Now, notable mentions. These are ones that might be bad, might be good, but are notable for one reason or another, but I didn't. So I wanted to take them out and talk about them individually and discuss them separately. Berry Finding S is a thing that I always like to discuss, of minimizing opportunity cost. There were other ones that I showed off that had Berry Finding S in their sub-skill list, but these are ones that I think are decent for farming whatever you're trying to farm, while also having Berry Finding S. So it's not like they're just only doing the Berry Finding S, and Berry Finding S is the only thing they're going for them. They're decent at what they're trying to do, while also producing bonus berries on the side, which makes them overall nicer on the team, because, yeah, you may be taking up a team slot for an ingredient specialist to produce the ingredients, but since they're producing more berries, it doesn't hurt as bad. You don't have to rotate it as much, because... Now, Berry Finding S is a bit more of a downside to Farfetch'd specifically, who cares quite a bit about its its inventory, because of how big the procs are. But it's interesting to see, kind of nice to some extent, in my opinion. And if it has it, I think it's a nice little add-on, and congrats to Gate and Vaughn. I think these are both reasonable investments, specifically Vaughn with the mono list. Gate might be a little bit harder to justify since it's an ABB. So if you need a sausage farmer, then maybe. But once again, with sausage farming on Farfetch'd specifically, you're going to run into even more inventory problems than with the leeks. Now, these are ones that I say are rip nature of... They would be good if they just had a different nature, even if they were just neutral. Had 6 of these submissions, a couple monos, we had 1 ABV, a couple mixed lists, or 1 mixed list. All of them have a decent sub-skills, but the stinking nature just ruins them. I'm sorry to all the people that submitted in here one of these entrances. And then this one, guy with the eye, caught one with Berry Finding S helping bonus. It's really not worth it on Farfetch'd. It's pretty terrible for berries. And it has not much... I guess you got it to level 100, it'd be alright for ingredients, but that's going to be so far away that it is not worth it. But it's funny to see Berry Finding S and helping bonus on something that is not a berry specialist. If this thing were a Dodrio, it'd be insane, but it is not. Now, finally on to the best in show. Now, obviously, we're going to have 6, 1 for each list. Now, last time, I have to give a little apology. I know that I messed up, and I gave best in show on one of the lists to Nova Gnomes on accident when it wasn't theirs. Somehow I got the names crossed. I forgot who actually deserved it. I don't know. But thank you to that person. Both of you that were caught up in it were chill about it. And I gave the Discord roles as like it was deserved. Both of you were chill about it, and I thank you for that. This time, I've gone back, and after I chose one as best in show, I went back to the Discord and just double verified that it is who deserves it. And so all 6 of these should be the right person. But anyway, ABA Farfetch'd goes to Pink, Orange, Red. This is a really solid one. Now, ABA, AAB, and AAC, there were less submissions, so they weren't as phenomenal as like the later ones were. But Help Speed M, Ingredient Finding M, or Subskill Seedable to Ingredient Finding M, eventually can get Help Speed S as well, with some inventory on there, which is really solid for Farfetch'd. With the Ingredient Finding Up nature, really solid. We'll just make a lot of those ingredients. If you're looking for the ABA synergy, then this thing is a great investment. But once again, ABA is kind of difficult to use. You kind of have to be looking to pre-stock some sausages and some leeks, because it's not going to be producing enough of either, really, to consistently make that meal. But if you can stockpile, make up for the weaknesses there, this thing can kick out some serious strength. AAC, once again, for the Zing Zap Cola. This one, it was submitted by Chaz. Really what made it be better than the other one that was shown, sent in by Zuki, was Helping Bonus and Ingredient Finding Up instead of Speed Up. This thing, Helping Bonus is going to be solid for a Pokemon that you're probably going to be leaving on the team the whole day, at least, because, once again, it's not making quite enough ingredients for the meal, but it's making a considerable portion towards it when you're using an AAC list, and then supplementing where needed. This thing would be pretty solid on the team. Helping Bonus just helps add extra support. Eventually more inventory comes in late. It's a solid option. if you can make good usage out of it. Otherwise, keep it at level 30. Makes the leaks and does pretty much the same as a Quaquaval as far as leak productivity goes. AAB, we had this one sent in by, I don't know how to pronounce that name because I don't know Japanese, or whatever language that is. I assume Japanese. But anyway, thanks for sending it in. It's got AAV list, Help Speed M, well, Subskill Seedable to Help Speed M. It's Help Speed S, though. Ingredient Finding M, some inventory later on, and Ingredient Finding Up Nature. Just real solid overall. And then as far as mixed list goes, interestingly, Nova Gnomes. Now, what's funny is Nova, after I told her last time, oh, whoops, I accidentally gave you the winning for the Mawile when you shouldn't have gotten it. I'll let you keep the Discord roll since I messed up. That's on me. She told me, no, I don't want it. Take it away from me. I need to earn it for real. And she got really lucky in literally the very next one and landed a Farfetch'd that is earning her it for real. And once again, I double verified. Nova actually deserves it this time. But it's on an ABC list, which is a bit unfortunate since, like I said, I do think it is the list that has the least going for it. But hold it in the box. If it ever becomes useful, then you have it ready for investment. Don't invest quite yet, probably not, unless you think you can make some sort of use out of it, unless there's something that I'm not seeing. But Ingredient Finding S, Ingredient Finding M, Help Speed M, and Ingredient Finding Up Nature, there's 4 good things there. That is very, very difficult to beat. And then as far as Sausage Farfetch'd goes, we have Inventory, and then double Subskill Seedable, Ingredient Finding S, and Help Speed S, with an Ingredient Finding Up Nature. And way later at level 100, if you ever do get it there, EXC, then Helping bonus comes in way, way late. Another pretty solid choice if you need sausage and don't already have a sausage farmer. Now, I remember this was submitted with the tagline of, I already have a great sausage aggron, so you probably don't need this. It's probably just going to be box filler, because I would feel bad transferring this. I don't know if you have yet or not. I probably wouldn't, just because I'd feel bad transferring it when I know it's that good, but either way, here it is. And then the best Leek Farfetch'd submitted. Now, a lot of you saw this coming, and I almost didn't actually choose it. One of the notable mentions that had Helping bonus in there as well, I did consider. But what ultimately tipped me over for this one instead was the fact that it was just flat Ingredient Finding Up Nature, and the other one had Ingredients Up, Speed Down. Which ultimately tipped the scales ever so slightly, even though it doesn't have Helping bonus. And it is a mono option, and it's shiny. My goodness, Pretty Katsu, Ashley, this was an insane catch. Knowing how a lot of the community values that mono list, you've got some of the best luck of any person on planet Earth in this single catch. Ingredient Finding S, Inventory L, Ingredient Finding M, Inventory is actually pretty solid on Farfetch'd specifically, and having double Ingredient Finding with an Ingredient Finding Up Nature is just insane. Many people are probably jealous of this, especially considering that it is shiny and that it is mono. That is absurd RNG, and you definitely deserved a Best in Show for this one. But that is it. That is it for the 5th, I believe it was 5th Cressminster. 75 slides of Farfetch'd, 181 submissions. Thank you all for submitting, and I hope that you all have a great time submitting the Hoenn starters and Plusle and Minen coming up soon. If you have enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Down in the description is a link to join our Discord. You can come join us, hang out, talk about all things Pokemon, sleep, and the like, and even submit your own Hoenn starters and Plusle and Minen in the next for the next cycle that's coming around, if you want to enter for this competition. Huge shout out to all of my channel members. It really means a lot to me that you guys want to show your support financially, even though I don't have any paid rewards for members. If you too want to show your support for the channel in that way and are financially capable of doing so, the join button is down below. And as always, I thank you all for watching and hope that you all have a wonderful day. Bye-bye now.